determine whether there are oceans on board. It seems that it's in perfect zone to have such. This planet orbits a dwarf star they call Geis 581, and the planet itself, Geis 581G. Saying that this is a Goldilocks planet, one that is just a find that opens the potential that there would be many other planets habitable in our galaxy and galaxies beyond. That life actually would be the norm. Now, you probably wouldn't want to live on Geis 581G because, well, it's tidal locked, and so you either have all daylight or all night. And also the pressures there, being that it's about 3 times the size of planet Earth, actually would make it very hard to get up. They say you wouldn't exactly become a puddle, but you wouldn't really enjoy your time there either. But perhaps they need to throw a moon in around this planet and cause it to start to orbit, to rotate, as perhaps things have happened on planet Earth in this way. What do we think about life in the universe? What do we think about the idea of extraterrestrials visiting planet Earth? And what would be a potential conspiracy theory to go along with an alien arrival? Now, we've just had the fourth kind. We've had V come out, and then recently the event. They're really pushing this extraterrestrial connection and then really pushing fear to come with it. Certainly in the fourth kind, they brought in the whole Sumerian connection. They brought in the owl of Bohemian Grove or even esoteric arts. And they made you believe this was real. Many people left the fourth kind thinking that it was based on a real story. Most didn't wait till the credits to see that they were showing the actors and actresses playing these roles, but taking away the idea that this had actually happened and the idea of possession by extraterrestrials. So we see this being proposed and brought forth through most of the sci-fi genre that we have on extraterrestrials. Isn't it funny if you're an SG-1 fan, if you're into watching Stargate, and we realize that every other planet in the civilization, other than all speaking English, but every other planet that they visit, they all know there's ETs. They all know they're aliens. And they're like, yes, we come from planet Earth. And yet none of the Earthlings are aware of aliens whatsoever. Now, you might notice if you get to the end of the credits on SG-1 that it's in connection with the Department of Defense. That this whole operation of SG-1, the movie, the film, the TV show, is all sponsored by the Department of Defense. Although the show itself comes from Canada. And when we start to see that they're programming this idea of infestation in a way of aliens. So the aliens actually are a parasite. They are a reptilian sort of snake-type being that are put into human hosts. Now, this is pretty similar to Chris Carter's Alien from the X-Files. And isn't it curious that Chris Carter's production company would be 1013? And in that same storyline, as we get to the end of the X-Files, the aliens are some sort of oil-type being that infest your body, take it over, and grow an alien inside of you. We could see this in the same similar setup with Disney and their Kane Chronicles and the hosting of God forms inside of children. This seems to be a common theme. Now, our alien story has gone through numerous themes. When we got the first alien contacts, back in the early days of alien contact, all the aliens were from Venus, and they were trying to tell humanity to save planet Earth, but there was no time left. This progressed into the abduction scenario. So around the 1940s, we have new radar technologies going into play, and suddenly UFOs crashing out of the sky. Most of those who are connected with this tend to believe that the radar were the cause of the malfunctions within the flying saucers. which then were supposedly captured. Now, I don't know if you went and watched the disclosure conference that was just put out by the National Press Conference. How many of these have I watched? Lots. Honestly, I think I've read nearly every UFO abduction type book, blue book, any of the experiencers, and I've watched an amazing amount of hours of whistleblowing testimony. It's boring. It is so boring, right? You sit there and you listen to these guys, and they're ex-military, they're FFA officials, they're pilots, they're engineers, they're police officers, and they're telling you about craft that took off at 2,000 miles an hour, hovered, went around, left, nothing too much, lights in the sky. Tales of abductions. We have confirmed tales of abductions where a police officer outside of a building witnesses a UFO approaching a many-storied apartment building and removing a lady from inside who had also reported the incident herself. We find that there are millions of abduction stories, millions of people believing that they have been taken by aliens and been tested upon. Now, when we look at this synopsis, this scenario, as we try to understand now, if we have millions of people being abducted regularly, and the belief is that they are taken through familial lines, so if you take generations of families up into these craft, and we believe that all of these cattle mutilations are real. Thousands, tens of thousands of cattle mutilated with cauterized incisions on their body that show no signs of blood seepage. Interesting parts of the body taken.